career in sexual health education. So I started my career in 2012 when I started my sex blog, erotica101.com, in 2011. September 8th, 2011. And I actually started it in Atlanta, so it's like a full circle moment for me to be here at Sex Down South, celebrating 12 years in this space. And I started because at the time, I was in my young 20s, and I was having some pretty interesting experiences. And I was looking around, doing some research, and I was like, where's the black people teaching black people about sex? And instead of being the one to be a keyboard warrior complaining, I was like, I'm just gonna jump in, because I know a lot about sex, and just start doing the work. And I started my YouTube channel, and I'm like an OG on YouTube, y'all. November 2010, I joined YouTube. So I was one of the first ones, demonstrating like sex positions and taking a risk. But back then, YouTube was like the Wild Wild West. Now it's like, we're so puritanical. So from there, I started writing for blackdoctor.org and ebony.com. And I started working with the Exotica Expo, the largest event dedicated to love and sex in the USA, just as a speaker at their Chicago show, because I'm from Chicago. And then in 2017, I got hired as their seminar coordinator and resident sex expert in the face of their educational series. So I'm still in that position, happy to be in that position. And in 2018, I got my certification as an authentic Tantra practitioner from the Institute of Authentic Tantra Education, rooted in Kelowna, BC, Canada. That's led by the beautiful Lady Ward Erickson. And so this is where I got my education in vagal theory. So has anyone ever heard of the vagus nerve? Great, this is awesome. So that means no one is unfamiliar. But I do want to share an article with you all. And I'm playing some lo-fi beats in the background. It's like my favorite kind of like Zen music. It's hip hop, but it's not all like, raging. So there's an article that I found that explains this perfectly. And I'm going to read a portion of it, not the whole thing. But the purpose of this session is to help us all gain some more tools to relax into pleasure. So our bodies are wired for pleasure. When we experience pleasure, we receive some great rewards. Relaxation, excitement, oxytocin, dopamine, adrenaline, serotonin. So all of these amazing chemicals are released into our bloodstream when we experience pleasure. But a mass majority of us have experienced trauma of some kind. And for some of us, that trauma is intersectional. So depending on the body that you're in, depending on the class that you're in, depending on the social status that you have, depending on your parental upbringing, all of these things can have impact. Even your career can have an impact on your nervous system. So one thing that I've noticed in my personal and professional practice as a sexual health practitioner and a sexually enlightened being is how my body responds when I'm experiencing pleasure. As much as we want to be present and as much as we want to feel into what we're experiencing, our bodies, as a defense mechanism, tend to either tighten up or our minds just start racing. We might feel like we're unsafe, even though we're with people or in situations where we tend to feel safe or believe that we're safe, or is presenting that we're safe. And we hold our breath often, and we don't even notice it. So I was like, we're talking about body love at this Sex Down South. Let me teach some tools that are really simple. You all already know these tools, so they're not foreign to you. But now you get to apply them in a way that can be a sense of foreplay for yourself. Something that you can do for yourself, either with your partner or solo, to help you get prepared. And not even just in sex, because there's 4 different forms of pleasure, y'all. Sensual pleasure, which is how we experience the world through our 5 senses. I like to say there's a 6th sense. Some of us have more heightened psychic abilities than others. And those of us who are HSPs, highly sensitive people, we can sense energy, we can sense things in the atmosphere. And that sense for a lot of us is like even more pleasurable than others. And then there's emotional pleasure, anything that feeds into our emotional state. And then spiritual pleasure, those of us that have a spiritual practice, no matter what it is, that helps us to feel enriched and closer to our purpose in life. And then of course, sexual pleasure, the one that even the dictionary, if you look at Oxford Dictionary and you look up the word pleasure, is going to say sexual gratification, but they never talk about the other three, but that's the one we're the most familiar with. So these processes that I'm going to teach you can help you to relax into any of those forms of pleasure. It even help you to access pleasure in places where you think you can't experience it. Like, how many of you work in an office or work from home for like a corporate? Okay, so look at your face. Like, girl. So you even find pleasure when your boss is doing the thing, by accessing your breath. And I'll show you that in a minute. But I found this article by Mark Sutton. He's a biodynamic breath and trauma release therapist, and it's on LinkedIn. So in my adult life, I have really come to appreciate LinkedIn, because before I was like, man, that place ain't got nothing going on over there, but it does. So the great thing I love about this, if for anybody else is like a practitioner in here, or just an expert in whatever field you're in, you can write articles on LinkedIn, and then they become, they're SEO driven. So if you're an expert on something, write an article on LinkedIn, and when somebody puts in that keyword, it's like bring your article up. Isn't that cool? So dope. So here we go. This article is called Stress, Gut Feelings, Emotional Bonding, and Orgasms. The Wandering Vagus Nerve Has It All. In this article, we're going to look in some detail at the vagus nerve, which is the longest of the cranial nerves. Vagus is Latin for wandering, and it describes the path that this nerve takes through the body. Actually, while classed as just one, it is actually two nerves that extend from the cerebellum and the brainstem and down into the viscera, and along the way, it connects to the heart and all major organs, and so could be considered largely responsible for the mind-body connection. So the mind-body connection is something that I teach my clients, because aside from being a sex writer, most of my work is centered around movement. So I created Cowgirl Workout, the only intimate fitness program designed to help vulva owners learn how to improve their intimate movement. And in this, I teach mind-body connection. I work with a lot of vulva owner people who are divorced, or who are mothers and who lost that connection with their bodies, or women or vulva owners who are in relationships where it's always been about their partner and never really about themselves. And so the mind-body connection is something I'm very familiar with teaching people. So the vagus nerve has many functions: regulating heart rate, speech, sweating, which I'm doing now. So you see the sweat dripping under my arms. It's just because I'm hot. Blood pressure, digestion, glucose production, and certain aspects of breathing. It is an important part of the parasympathetic nervous system, initiating the relaxation response. So when we tap into our parasympathetic nervous system, we are able to tap into rest and digest and come out of fight or flight. So generally, we all are breathing from our chests, these little short staccato breaths. And it's controlled by the autonomic nervous system, so we're not conscious of it. But that's where fight or flight is activated. So when we consciously take over our breath through deep conscious breathing, we can tap into rest and digest. And the rest and digest response is where you want to be in order to really seep into and feel deeply into pleasure. Nearly 90% of the nerve fibers associated with the vagus nerve are sensory or afferent nerves that relay information back to the brain. It has been shown that not only does the vagus nerve relay information to the brain from our second brain, the enteric nervous system, in controlling digestion, but it may also be responsible for the transmission of gut feelings and instincts and have some role in mood, fear, and anxiety. So if you're coming off of a stressful day at work, and you and your partner want to get into something sexy, or you just want to do it for yourself, you can access your breath, and it's going to help you to tap into rest and digest. Swiss researchers demonstrated that not only were gut instincts from the vagus nerve a significant influence on the level innate fear response, but a healthy vagal tone appears to be important in overcoming a learned or conditioned fear response. The vagus nerve is linked to our hearing, eye contact, and emotional expressions, and has an influence on the bonding hormone, oxytocin, and there is evidence that a higher vagal tone is associated with more closeness with others and social bonding, as well as mother and infant bonding. The vagus nerve also appears to help control fertility and orgasms in women by connecting the cervix, uterus, and vagina. And women can actually experience orgasms simply from the vagus nerve. So, and please understand, if you are a penis-owned person, the same applies because it still ends in the pelvis. So I wanted to read that just so that you can have an understanding of like, the science behind what we're going to be doing. And not to cut myself this article off, because there's another piece to this. The article basically goes into the polyvagal theory by Dr. Stephen Porges, or maybe Porges, excuse the mispronunciation. But there are literally stimulation techniques that we can use to tone the vagus nerve. So it's believed that people that have a toned vagus nerve know how to regulate their nervous system, know how to regulate their emotions. So with the state of our country now, just the world, everybody's so like wired up and wound up. And of course the pandemic did a lot of that for us. But no one's teaching people how to tap into their emotional state in a way where they can just bring it down. So slow breathing, slow abdominal breathing, chanting Om, which vibrates the vagus nerve, humming, laughing, singing, exercising, yoga. All of these things help us to produce vagal tone, even gargling. So in the morning when you're gargling, after you brush your teeth, that is a form of vagal toning. So you can do all of these things on a regular basis, and it's going to help your vagus nerve to have more strength, which gives you the ability to tap into rest and digest. So, what I want to do is take you through a series of things. Again, these all are very simple. Some of them, most of them, we can do sitting down in our chairs. And because we don't have like much open space, we're gonna probably just do all of them. Like I can teach you some yoga in the chair that you can also do when you're at work and you need a break, especially when you're sitting down all day. Help stretch your lower back down. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is belly breathing or diaphragm breathing. So I want you to sit up straight in your chair. And when you're doing this at home, like before your pleasure practice, you can do this sitting on the floor, you can do this sitting in the middle of your bed, or sitting at the head of your bed with some pillows behind you. You want to be as comfortable as possible. And if you would like, you can close your eyes for this too. So take one hand and place it over your belly. And this hand is just going to be a marker for you. This is going to let you know whether you are breathing into your belly or not. So what you want to do is consciously take control of your breath. And when you inhale through your nose, you want to send the breath down into your belly, feeling your hand move away from your body. So you're filling your belly up with air like a balloon. And when you exhale through the nose, you're pushing the air out of the belly, bringing it back to this resting state. So as you breathe, you can feel your shoulders starting to drop down. You can feel your heart rate starting to slow down just a little bit. Take 5 breaths with me into your belly. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. So after breathing these 5 breaths into your belly, what do you notice? How do you feel? You can just call out, relax.
Less tense.
Less
Yes,
tense.
it gets a little fuzzy, like it just feels real.
Yes. So That fuzzy feeling means that your body is bringing in more oxygen. So when we breathe into our chests and we're in that fight or flight response, we're only using a portion of our lungs capacity. But when we deepen the breath into the diaphragm, we actually access more space in our lungs, which means more air, more oxygen, more life. So, what I invite you all to do with me now is a body conscious meditation. So what we're going to do is we are going to continue to breathe in that pattern. In through the nose, out through the nose, and into the belly and from the belly. And I just want you to be a quiet observer of your thoughts. A lot of times in meditation, people believe you have to clear your mind. And I'm going to tell you, as somebody that meditated since I was like 16, your mind never clears. So I always encourage the people who I work with to just be a quiet observer of the thoughts that are coming into your mind. Don't try to decipher them. Don't judge them. Just let them be. And if it's something that's like really popping up for you, put a pin in it. So that way later you can write that down and examine that. And so with this meditation, I'm going to be taking you from the crown of your head all the way down to the soles of your feet. So this is just going to bring an awareness of what's going on in your body right now. So I invite everybody to close your eyes. And if you still need to place your hand over your belly in order to just have something to focus on breathing into, to expand your belly with air, please feel free to do so. And now, we will begin our meditation. As you inhale and exhale into and from your belly, bring your attention and your awareness to the very top of your head. This is your crown. We receive so much information through our crown, and for some of us, we have hair covering our crowns. What does it feel like? If you feel any tension in your crown, just drop it down and release it. Bringing your awareness to your eyebrows and your forehead. If you're feeling any tension in this space, give yourself permission to release it. Bringing your awareness now down to your mouth. Feeling your lips pursed together, your tongue resting in the middle of your mouth. If you feel tension in your jaw, release it now. Allow yourself to relax. Now bring your awareness down to your throat. Feeling the air moving up and down your airways, expanding your throat just slightly. If you feel any tension in your neck, as much as you can, drop it down and release it. Bringing your awareness now to your shoulders. Feeling if your shoulders are tense, if they're hunched up. Send the intention of your breath into your shoulders to drop them down. Now moving into the middle of your chest. Feel your chest rise and fall with each breath. As your belly follows the rhythm of your breath. Both your chest and your belly expanding together. Whatever tension you may feel in your chest, drop it down now. Now bringing your awareness to your belly. Luna Matatas will be teaching right after me on how to love your belly. This is the source spot for a lot of us and the location of our sacral chakra, where we hold a lot of our personal things. Whatever tension you feel in this space, it go. Let your belly hang out. Just let it be free. Now bringing your awareness to your hips and your pelvis. Feeling yourself sitting in a chair supporting you, holding you up. Feel how your hips come into contact with your seat. And if there's any tension that you feel here, go ahead and drop it down now. Moving your attention now to your thighs. Feeling their mass, feeling their shape, feeling their strength. Any tension you feel here, go ahead, just release it now. Moving down to your calves. Our wonderful calves that don't get enough love from being a part of our legs that hold us up the strongest. Feel their fullness, feel their weight, feel their support. And if you feel any tension here, drop it down now. And now moving into your feet. Feeling your feet grounding through your shoes into the floor. Feeling energy, feeling the blood circulating through your soles, through your toes. Any tension you feel in your feet right now, drop it down into the ground. Allowing yourself to sit for a moment in relaxation. Feel the energy of your deepened breath moving around your body. And give your toes a little wiggle in your shoes. Go ahead and lift your heels up. Feeling your calves, get a little bit of stretch. And bring your heels back down to the ground. Go ahead and give your shoulders a shrug up towards your ears. And drop them down. Drop your head down as if you're trying to touch your chin to your chest. And bring your head back as if you're trying to touch your head to the very top of your spine. And bring your head back to center. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and return your awareness to the space. Give yourself a little shake out. Roll out, stretch big, whatever you need. How did that feel? Share how that felt for you? Very good. How about you?
It felt very activated, like I wanted to move a lot, which I could tell was like some energy needing to go.
Yes.
And so when I did, after that, it was like, oh, now you can rest.
Absolutely. It's like when we bring awareness into our body, it just lets us know like where there's things that need attention, you know? Like when we're just go, go, go all the time, we don't really know like what our body is calling for. But when we put ourselves in that state of relaxation, your body's like the parts that really need the attention, like, hey, 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 hey. So we're gonna do some movement too in a minute here. Yes.
So So I felt like a vibration kind of in fingers and feet. What is that about?
Yes, so she said she, pronouns
She, her.
she, her. She said she felt tingling sensation in her fingers and in her feet. That's energy moving. That's blood flow. And we all know that arousal, the name of the game for arousal is blood flow. So when we access the deeper capacity of our lungs, we're able to literally move energy through. Like I feel it all right here, like the backs of my arms are tingling, like my entire back is like on fire, which is like a tingles. So feel into that, receive that. That's your body saying, hey, I'm here. So you can literally do this form of meditation, and you can do it any way that you desire. Just starting from your crown, coming all the way down to your feet. Sometimes I go like crown, forehead, eyebrows, arms, nose, lip, like I'm like doing the whole thing. Because I hold my face in certain positions. I make a lot of facial expressions during the day, and so the muscles of the face, we don't realize just how much tension we carry in our face. Some people who have like RBF, resting bitch face, they have that real bad. I just be like, just relax, just breathe. So, now that we've gotten a little more into our bodies, I want us to vibrate our vagus nerve. So we've already stimulated that nerve. And remember, it's the wandering nerve. So by us just breathing deeply and taking a moment to just bring awareness to the different parts of our body, the vagus nerve has been activated. So that's one form of vagal toning you can do. Just breathing deep. And in Tantra, what we typically do, and in meditation in general, 21 breaths is like that sweet spot for breathing. So when you wake up in the morning, you want to come into your body and just wake up that vagus nerve. You can just sit, cross your legs, and do 21 deep belly breaths. And that'll get your day started, even better than coffee. You can add coffee after that just to turn it up a notch. So now we're going to do a little bit of chanting, and this is my favorite. This is going to sound like a choir. And everybody has a different tone and where their voice can go in octaves. So we're going to be chanting O-M or Om. Om is the sound that we use to cultivate life, and it's just that sound that connects us with divinity, and it vibrates our vagus nerve and our breaths. So we're going to inhale through the nose, and then on our exhale, we're going to chant Om. And you start with the O, you end with the M, again, and you want to follow the breath. So for as much breath as you have, that's how you're going to chant. And I'm going to give you an example of that. So when you do this, it's going to feel a little guttural, so you don't just feel your entire body vibrating. So how about we start with 5 ohms, and then see how everybody feels to continue on from there. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay. First Om, inhale. Two more, inhale. Last one. feel like Nagito, like I can just move some shit. Did anyone feel like an intensifying feeling with each own? Like, anybody feel that?
I just felt real relaxed.
How did you feel?
That felt better. I think it's hard sometimes for me to get into the rhythm of my breath. It's like a start. It feels a little like there's a resistance around the breath when I'm trying to breathe deeply. And that actually helped a lot. Like just having that process to center my body on what it's doing really did actually help a lot.
Can somebody close that door for me? Yeah, a lot of us have a problem with like really breathing deeply because of the different traumas we've experienced throughout our life. I don't care if you're on or if you're human, we all have experienced some form of trauma. Even like having somebody come around the corner and be like, boom, you know, it just like startles you and like your nervous system is like, it's rocked. So, and I've noticed this about myself, like there are times when I'm literally just tight, just not even really breathing. And when I'm aware of that, I'm like, okay, take a deep breath. And so throughout the day, I'm actually practicing belly breathing. And I learned belly breathing even before I started Tantra. I remember two of my friends, we were on the phone and they were like, hey, did you know that we don't breathe right? And I was like, what? And they're like, when we were babies, we used to breathe from our bellies. And this helps us to like activate our rest and digest. And so we used to get on the phone and practice belly breathing as a group, like twice a week. And then I just started breathing that way, and I was like, wow. So I live with anxiety, and it helps so much to be able to just access my breath and know, like, I know medications and things work, and I'm the kind of person where I'm like, I don't want to have to be dependent on medication if I don't have to. So I've always been the kind of person that's like, let me see if I can do naturally before I have to go there. And if it gets to the point where I go there, then I'll use medication. But we like to say in Tantra, meditate to medicate. Like, and meditation is as simple as just having conscious awareness and control of your breath. So anytime, take a moment to just take these breaths, whether it's 10, 15, 20, 21, you're meditating. So I'm happy that you felt more relaxed and you were able to access more of your breath. And that's the thing about vibrating the vagus nerve. Because once we stimulate it, it's helping us to tap into rest and digest, and then you'll feel a smoother process with your breathing. So there's a moment where you can feel your body shift into rest and digest, and I think you felt that as soon as we started doing the vibration.
And my body's more awake. Like all of a sudden, I'm definitely more awake. Like I can feel it throughout my body.
That's why I said that didn't call me.
Yes.
I think for me, because I often inhabit space in a way that is like containing rather than for others, or adjusting how I present despite my nervous system in order to participate in space. And so the thing that I noticed during the Om in particular, which is not a way that I typically get back into my body, although I have my own practice, is that I actually, first of all, in that practice, I would have to do more for myself because I noticed I actually had to find my tone of voice.
Mm-hmm.
My first instinct is to meet yours,
Right.
yours, and then I'm aware of the rest of the space, and so that I'm filling gaps in the space, and so it actually took me it took me all of my breaths, and I don't know that I ever really got it, but to find the actual pitch or tone of that Om that was my voice so that I could get into my rest and digest into my body rather than filling the space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like when I first started like Tantra, when we would chant, I'm like, I got a low register. I'm like, low alto, high tenor. So some people had like soprano and like, they're up here, and I was just like, that's not me. So I'm gonna be with the guys, like with the people who have the lower voices. So I completely connect with you in that. And that leads me to the question of, would you all like to do 5 more breaths with the Om? And just like what you said, finding your tone, that's what it's all about. So if it happens to be a little more pitchy, if it happens to be a middle ground, whatever it is for you. And in the morning, I'm like, I wake up sounding like DMX. Like, I had to get together. This morning, I was like, and I'm still a little flabby because I have bad allergies, and Atlanta is not kind to me in that way. Okay. So let us practice 5 more. And then I have another chant that we're going to do and another breath that's even more powerful. And we can move around the room a bit once we get into the practice. And I'll explain. So for now, let's get into our owns. In 5. Inhale. Last one. Roll it out, stretch it out. One thing I want you to be aware of is our throat chakras. So for some of us, we're closed up here. Either our voices have been shut down, or we don't feel safe to really express ourselves. So when we start to do chanting, what can tend to happen is fluctuations in voice. Sometimes you might go to chant and nothing comes out. It's just like stuck. Or you may have sputters. Or you might like start at one tone and then end at another tone. Those things are normal. And it's a sign that there is clearing happening. So don't feel like you're not doing it right if that occurs. That was something that when I learned this next breath that I'm going to teach you all, that would happen to me. Now, this is the ocean breath. I've taught this before here. And this is one of the most powerful tools that I've learned in Tantra. And the ocean breath was created by Carla Tara, and she taught it to my teacher, Davey Ward Erickson, and she now teaches it in the Authentic Tantra modality. So this is one of the most powerful, say, like vagal toning exercises. But for a lot of people, it can feel uncomfortable. Specifically because we're not going to be chanting Om, we're going to be chanting Ah. Now, naturally, we do this, y'all. We do it till we yawn. We be like, oh. You know, be like, I ain't tired. So, quite naturally, we do it. But when we do it, it's more of like a sound coming from the back of the throat, and it feels a little tight, and then at the end, it's like, y'all already. And yes, that's going to happen with this breath. A few things for a warning. Once we start breathing with the ocean breath, you might experience some tearing. You will definitely yawn. You're going to feel really relaxed. You might feel like it's difficult to like make the ah sound sometimes, just depending on where you're at in your throat chakra and what's coming up through the vagus nerve being activated. You might also feel dry mouth. So if you have something to drink, great. If not, I'm gonna have to grab something. Also, this is an open mouth breath. So we are inhaling and exhaling from the mouth, and our mouth will be open, 2 finger widths wide. Now, your tongue, sometimes people's tongue have a tendency to want to just float in the middle. So you want to make sure that your tongue, because the tongue is like fighting sometimes, like, where do I go? You want to make sure that your tongue is resting on the bottom palate. Okay, so for some, with this breath, it's like, there's too much happening in my mouth at one time. And it's okay. This takes a little bit of practice for something to get used to. So, I'm going to demonstrate what this breath looks and sounds like. And then we're going to practice a few, see? And then what I encourage us all to do, if you feel comfortable, because this breath is meant to be done when you're extremely comfortable. So like under some covers, pillows behind your head, under your knees, just lying back. So if some of you want to experience the comfort in that and you want to find a space around the room on the floor to lie down, I encourage you to do that. Or you can stretch across as many chairs as you want. You got plenty of space over here. So you can do that as well. If I would like to practice this breath for 5 minutes. And I'm giving us 5 minutes just because time, I got time. So, but I want to practice 5 minutes first, just to see how it goes for everyone. And then if you feel like you want some more time, then we'll add a little bit more. I believe in spoon feeding. Because you just don't know what's going to come up in these kinds of things. Okay? So, this is what it looks and sounds like. Oh, so with the ah, we're starting at a high note and then trailing it off to a lower note. And everybody's high note and low note is going to sound different. So you don't have to match me. Match what your voice wants to do. And the ah is escaping out of the throat with the breath. So you don't want to push it out like, what are you doing? And there are times, and we did this last year, and like some people had some really strong releases, and so they were like crying through the eye, and that's okay. But you consciously want to remember to just let the ah come along with the breath. Okay? So, this is what it sounds and looks like. Ah. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And it mimics ocean waves. So it sounds like the waves like crashing and coming back, crashing and coming back. So I remember I was teaching this to a couple, and they were like, our kids are in the other room. And I was like, that's okay, because you can teach this breath to your kids too. It's a non-sexual thing, even though the ah sounds real sexual, But ah is the spark of life. So think about that, like when you're chanting, it's literally just bringing more life, generating more chi for you as you chant ah. All right, y'all ready to practice? I'll tell you about my throat's going funny this morning. Was that swag surfing on dick last night?
Where we adjust.
Yes.
Get comfy.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to adjust and get comfortable, if you want to stretch across some chairs, if you want to lie on the floor, please feel free to do that. And whether you're sitting or lying, I want you to have one hand over your chest or your heart center, and then the other hand over your belly. Okay? And I'm going to set a timer on my watch for us. Alright, so starting our timer. Take your 2 fingers, do your mouth check. Just inhale and exhale from your mouth with it. And let's begin. Sit up. Stretch it out a little bit. Anyone cares to put into the space what you experienced during those 5 minutes? You can. I'm going to start. Felt my voice cracking. And immediately in my mind, I was like, oh, my pelvis is tight. And then I felt a pop in my left hip. I'm having some tightness over here. I was like, oh, okay, that's just released. And then the tears started to just come out. And that's a beautiful thing for me because I'm a crier, y'all. Unapologetic. But these things are all releases. Whether you yawn, there's tears, you burp. Sometimes we feel like we gotta go to the bathroom because we're also working with our downward voiding winds. Those winds are the ones that control what comes out of our lower ends. So sometimes you might feel a little gassy. That's okay. Anyone else like to share what they felt in those 5 minutes? Yes.
Yeah, for myself, I didn't get to like a teary place to kind of close to the end. Like it took me a minute to kind of get there. Also, I spent a little bit more time just focusing on how I was breathing. Felt a little off. When I got to the bottom, I felt like I was holding it more. Like meaning once I got all the air out, I felt like before I took the next breath, I was almost pausing.
Yeah.
So I had to focus on just trying to breathe consistently through it. So by the time I got to the end, I was able to kind of feel some water come down the eyes there a little bit. But yeah, that's also.
And that pause at the bottom isn't necessarily a bad thing. Because there's another breath that we do where we do pause at the top and we pause at the bottom, and it's with our pelvic floor movement. And I found myself pausing too, because I like to rest at the bottom with like the air out of my lungs. I don't know why, but it just feels like a very peaceful place. So, but bringing awareness to the fact that you want us to have that consistency and flow of your breath, that's good. That's really good. That is a part of building body wisdom. We're tapping into that wisdom. So, and like 5 minutes is like a warm up. So you usually do this for like 25 to 30 minutes. And I'm telling y'all, the waves. The waves. Yeah, right? And I didn't want to take us there necessarily today because like, if it was ideal for me, I would have it set up with yoga mats and we all have our own spaces and we'd be able to do that. But I was just like, 5 minutes is just a taste, a little teaser. I'll read the room very well. Anyone else care to share? Yes.
So I actually felt like I was about to release, and when I did, I tensed up and I stopped. I got extremely uncomfortable, and I know that I probably need to work through that. Yeah, like I felt it, and I was like, nope.
Yes.
And I immediately stopped.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful awareness.
I caught myself. I was like, ooh, it felt uncomfortable, so I stopped.
And that speaks a lot to like for a lot of us, like being able to emote and just let ourselves feel like vulnerable enough to be in a space where we can release. That's big for you, I think. And so when you get into your private space now, you get to use this ocean breath, and I suggest everybody set a timer. The timer for 20 minutes. Get really comfortable, like I said, underneath the covers, have some tissue and some water by like your nightstand or like right next to you on the bed, pillows behind your head, pillows underneath your knees, hand to heart, hand to belly. If you want, you can also experiment with hand to heart, hand to genitals. See how that does for you as well. And then practice this. So that way you can be in your own private space where you can give yourself that permission to just release. Because your body is calling for that. That coming up, that was your body being like, hey, we got some stuff to get rid of. And that's the thing about triggers that I think that we kind of just generally misunderstand, is that when something comes up, it's coming up because it wants to be released from the body. But what we tend to do, because of fight or flight, and because it's a protection mechanism, it's like, oh, no, we don't want to go there, we don't want to feel that. But we always say you gotta feel it to heal it. And so I would say like ocean breath for me has been such an amazing tool to be able to just like release stuff. And I've had some balls. I have had a time with this breath. So I would be interested in knowing what, like how that works for you as you practice this more. And this is a breath that you can use during sex as well. For vagina owners, like we can carry a lot of tension in the pelvis, and when we're in penetration, and this also works very well for anal too, just so you all know. For anal, people here, but generally, wherever tight, right? And so you can go into ocean breathing, and also like ask your partner, hey, can you just slow it down for a bit? And you can start ocean breathing and have an ocean breathe with you, and you can really feel your pelvis opening up. Oh gosh, and the release, magical. So just practice it a little more, and then like you can incorporate this into your sexual practice and see how it goes for you. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I appreciate you sharing that last part, because the thing that I've been processing in the minutes since the breath was that I think a lot of my earliest sexual experiences, I was actually chasing this nervous system state. And so I think I was having sex to get here, right? So like on the other side of an intense experience, or on the other side of an orgasm, or on the other side of like sub-drop, like this sort of state that I'm finding right now. And so it's giving me another lens to look at some of my sort of early years, but also giving me an opportunity to like also look back on some of those edges with more clarity and maybe more grace, to also think about what that looks like in an embodied way now, having different access points to your own body.
I love that for you. I love it. And this is what I love, like, we're just breathing. Like, we have access to our breath at any time. It's free. This is some deep ass therapy. Like, and I just love that you said that, because like when we learn about orgasm early on, right, there's all these like magical, like whimsical like words that are used to describe it, which it does feel like that. But like when you're trying to chase that and it doesn't seem like you get there, and you kind of feel like a cliffhanger or a drop off. And as much as you feel pleasure in the experience, it's like, but where is that moment? So now imagine if you get into this state before you even start your experience. And then imagine getting into that state with a partner and you're eye gazing. Because eye gazing is also a form of vagal toning. Like, I've been practicing Tantra, and I didn't even know this, but I was practicing Tantra with my dad like my whole life. The cuddles, the exchange of like energy, breath, eye gazing. So even if you practice eye gazing in the mirror, just staring at yourself, because it's hard to look in the mirror. I've been there. So imagine like sitting in yab yum with your partner, syncing your breath, eye gazing, ocean breathing together for like 10, 15 minutes, and just getting into that space. How much more powerful your pleasure will be accessed. It's gonna be so juicy. Let me know how that goes, man. Anybody else care to share their experience? Yes.
Yeah, that was incredibly hard for me. There was like no rhythm to be had. It kept triggering my gag reflex. That's just what kept happening. So I felt like I had to like restart. Yeah, that's gonna require a lot of practice for me.
Yes, and that is very common. Because when you said that you already had like a hard time like really getting into the rhythm of breath, in my mind as a practitioner, I'm like, okay, we got some trauma to move through the blocks of bliss. And the beautiful thing is that you can chip away at that at your own pace, with your own breath. No judgment, it's okay. We all are on a journey, and it's gonna take time. That's why I say spoon feeding, right? Because I just don't believe in like being really extreme with things and like breaking people open. Slowly, gently is the motto. So think of it like going like gem mining, and there's like a nice little piece right there. And you got your pick, and you just shoot, and then eventually you get to the part where you see the sparkle. That's what you're doing with this breath work and stimulating your vagus nerve. Because for you, it sounds like your tone may be on the lower side, and that is okay. A lot of us are there because of the trauma that we've experienced. So now you know you can chant Om, you can do the ocean breath with the Ah, you can just simply do 21 breaths, just inhaling, exhaling through the nose into your diaphragm. You can eye gaze and look at yourself in the mirror. You can gargle in the morning. So I should have did that, gargle with some salt water. But you can literally gargle. You can hum. I'm a hummer and a whistler. People just be like, why are you just so happy? I'm like, I can't be happy today. And then this next thing that we're going to get into, which is my favorite thing of all time, is laughter. Laughter stimulates the vagus nerve and creates vagal tone. Y'all, I love comedy shows. One of my secret guilty pleasures, and I don't do this anymore, y'all. I promise you I don't, was being a heckler. Yo! I have ruined sense. I have a friend who, she used to do stand-up comedy. She's from Toronto, and her whole thing was like, she's Jamaican, Pakistani, and Canadian. And I was like, hey, girl. And so her set used to be so hilarious. She was like, bitch, sit your ass in the back. Don't sit in front. Because you're going to go to the show. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But so, like, eventually, I was like, all right. So I have a lot of friends who are, like, pretty famous now for comedy. And I was like, let me just respect the craft and just sit my ass in that and not say anything. So, laughter, as they say, is the best medicine. And it's so true because it's stimulating the vagus nerve. And it vibrates your entire body, your throat, and then just everything just tingles. And you just feel happier, like smile on your face and everything. So, I'm not gonna get up here and do no set. What I do want us to do is to have a collective laugh. And how we're gonna do that is, we're just gonna start really low with it. So just bring something into your mind that's funny, already happening. It just starts to just laugh at yourself. And just let that laugh get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Have y'all seen those cat memes with the black cat and the cat in front of it? Yes. That's in my brain. I'm just like, all these stupid memes. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Listen, there are times when when I'm just feeling crazy, I'm just feeling anxious, and I literally just sit there and I'm just like, what the fuck? and I just start laughing at myself like, what the fuck? Like, what are you upset about? Nobody's here. Oh. And I had no idea that making myself laugh was literally medicine. That it was my vagus nerve being like, look, you need to get through this shit. So just look at just notice how your body feels like when you laugh, like everything just lights up. We get a little, everybody in here is glowing, everybody is glowing right now. Combination of all the breathing we've been doing and then just ending that with laughter is just beautiful. And I always say during sex or one of my favorite sensual pleasures, eating. I love food. I smile, do a little happy dance. Sometimes I'm laughing, I'm like, That little that is a hum. That is vibrating my vagus nerve. And also the fact that we're eating also does something for us too. So just knowing that all these tools are really simple and that we get to access them at any time makes me so excited. Because, big pharma will try to shove stuff down our throats as far as medicines. And like I said, I know the power of medicine. I know that it works. But if we can medicate ourselves first just through breath and meditation and eye gazing and movement, that's so powerful. So I do want us to stand, rise up. Our mighty falcons here, and everyone rise up. Trust me, I am not football. My mom is, Jesus Christ. Can't talk to that woman on Monday, Thursday, Sunday. Hope never get into trouble during those days. Okay, so I just want us to stretch a little bit. Yoga is a great way to stimulate your vagus nerve. Any yogis in here? Anybody do yoga on a regular? I know, it be hard sometimes. Where my body is set up, because I do a lot of like fitness focused stuff. I'm trained to be a master trainer. I'm stretching all the time, especially when I get high, y'all. When I get high, I start moving. People be like, "You high H?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, don't worry about me. I'm doing a turtle dance right now. Like, that's literally me. So, what I want us to do is just reach up to the ceiling, stretch it all the way up. Feeling our backs expand and now tilt to one side. Breathing as you do so. Inhaling, coming up and tilting to the other side. Exhale. Coming back to center. Inhale. And coming down to the front. Exhale. Yes. Shaking your head out as you're down here. And coming up, articulating your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, from the bottom up. Turning to the side, coming down, reaching for the toes. Coming to the middle, legs are spread wide. And to the other side, facing the foot. Inhale. Exhale. Coming up. And I want us to open up like flowers, squat down slightly, head down, gathering it all up, to then open up again, come down, scooping it up, open again, chest big and open. Down, scoop it up, chest big and open. One more, down, scoop it up, chest big, open up the squat. Rolling your shoulders back, 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 and forward, forward. Forward, forward, forward. Good. Take a slight squats. Tilt your pelvis forward and back. Forward, back. Forward, inhale and back. Forward, inhale and back. Circle it out. And reverse to the other side. Bring the legs together. And a forward bend down. Dropping your head down. Letting your arms just be loose, hanging down in front of you. Inhaling and exhaling from the belly. Feeling your belly press against your thighs. Expanding your lower back. And coming up, vertebrae by vertebrae, on the bottom. Do some marches in place. And just freestyle, stretch and move, however your body wants to move to get it out. Like fighting my demons. You put in the air every now and then, like, get the fuck away from me. Not outside though, because they gonna commit me. I'm not trying to be that person. So how do you feel in your body now? Yeah? You feel like you can go throughout your Saturday on South Day? Yes. Now imagine if you did some of this every day in the morning. I mean, what? Instead of just hopping out of bed, Instagram, coffee, work emails, Because sometimes that's me. It's just like the urgency that is created through capitalism. I'm not gonna get in my soapbox. But starting that way, starting the day that way, centers your body, mind, spirit. And then throughout the day, being able to access your breath, especially when you're feeling like high anxiety. Like driving the traffic out here, for me, high anxiety. So I'm like, what the fuck? Get me out of my head. Oh, center. So I'm excited for y'all because now you have the awareness that these simple tools, eye gazing, deep belly breathing, ocean breath, chanting Om, the ah with the ocean breath, gargling, humming, singing, laughing, stretching, yoga. All these things help you build vagal tone. So book those comedy shows, watch those comedy specials on Netflix, with friends, encourage some collective and community vagal toning. Hum and whistle your favorite songs, even if you don't have much of a singing voice. Listen, I love singing. And I have very high ceilings in where I live now, and I sing to the top of my lungs because it's just me in there right now. And my dog. He don't care. And I'm sure the spirits in my house, they love it because they're just like, oh, she's so happy. No matter what, just let that voice come out. And practice these breath techniques. The more you practice, the easier it will become. Trust me. And we all go on journeys, so we might have releases, and then that next layer of stuff that's meant to come up, we might have some blocks, and that's okay. That happens. Even as someone who's been practicing Tantra, authentic Tantra, since 2018, and practicing belly breathing since 2012, I still encounter stuff that's coming up. We got layers of muck that just wants to come up. So give your vagus nerves some love, get that toning going, and enjoy that access to your body. And use this in your sexual pleasure practices too, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me this morning. Thank you so much. I didn't know I was gonna make it. I was like, I'm getting up. I was like, I don't know who's gonna be there. It could be one person, it could be 50 people. I don't care. We're gonna do it. So I know Luna's gonna be teaching in this room at 11 on loving your belly, which I think is such an amazing. I will be back for that. I'm gonna walk my dog. Thank y'all. so much. And if you have Instagram and you want to follow me on Instagram, I am real, R-E-A-L, Amazon, Tyomi. And you will see a picture of me with cat ears now. In my kink life, I identify as a kitten. I have 2 kitten personas, Precious Kitty and Roxy. Precious is owned. I'm so proud to say I'm owned kitty. Roxy is not owned. I own her. And she is a straight. She's out here in the streets. So, hey, my sister was like, I don't like Roxy. She do too. But I said, ma'am, relax. It's not for you. It's for me. So enjoy the rest of Sex Down South. If you're going to be at the Big Bang tonight, I will be doing some things with King of War on stage. So look for me again.